It's okay. Have just gone through immigration and are now on Friendship Bridge over the river that separates Uzbekistan and Afghanistan. We have been checked by our first Afghan checkpoint and now on our way to immigration to get the stamp and head to Mazar-i-Sharif.
After crossing the border, we met with our guides and drivers for the trip. Our first stop was to go and get permits for the Mazar-i-Sharif region. Due to it being in a Taliban office, you can't film, so I have no footage from that.
We have just been to the permit office to check that we all have the right permits and show passports and just kind of check into the region, and now we have stopped at a little supermarket on the side of the road to grab some water and snacks before we head to Mazar-i-Sharif, which is the first stop of our journey today. We have been driving for about 15 minutes and we have just stopped at a viewpoint that overlooks all of the sand dunes, and it's such a cool viewpoint. It's not what you would imagine Afghanistan to look like, and it is also super quiet. It is near the border of Uzbekistan, so the traffic isn't crazy here, but we're just kind of climbed up on one of the sand dunes and overlooking everything, which is super cool.
After a few stops on the way to admire some views, we finally made our way to our final destination for the day, Mazar-i-Sharif. Mazar is the border city with Uzbekistan, and it's around an hour and a half drive to reach it. Our first stop was to the hotel so we could check into our rooms, leave our bags, and we all grabbed a cup of tea whilst we waited for the guides to go and grab some documents that the group would need for the rest of the trip.
Just been dropped off at our guest house for the night in Mazar-i-Sharif and are now on our way out to the local bazaar to get some local clothing made. Turkmenistan visa.
I don't intend on.
On the way to the bazaar, we exchanged some USD for local currency, which is called Afghani. The way this is done is literally by pulling up on the side of the road to somebody who will be stood there with a bunch of USD and a bunch of Afghani. The guides helped us work out the conversion rate so that we got a good deal, and then the whole group got their local currency sorted.
Okay. Yeah. But you cannot do 62?
It was then time to head to the bazaar so the group could get their local clothing.
I've got a thin material.
Yeah. What's your name? Afsan. Yana.
So our first stop was to come to the bazaar to get some local clothing, and the guys have gone first because they have to get theirs tailored, so they get to pick out the material, and then they're currently in getting measured, and the girls are currently just waiting. We get to go shopping, so we just get to go and pick one of the buyers from the many shops that sell so many different kinds. So we are up next.
Come in, Biggie.
You okay? You okay?
We have now come up to the floor which has all of the women's shops on, so it is our turn to get some local clothing.
It's up to you, but if you want, this is short for you. You know, even the leg. It is short for me. He will. As the cologne is not the sauce. Yeah, cologne shall take a push color. Amir. 1,000 is up.
Laura, you're cool?
We'll pay 1,000 each.
1,000? 1,000 as well?
Everybody's hot, everyone wants to go and get changed.
Oh, you're tough.
After a few hours spent at the bazaar getting our local clothing, it was time to refuel, so we headed to lunch. I picked to go to one of my favourite restaurants in the city, which is very famous for its local pilau. Pilau is a local rice dish that is really famous among all of the Central Asian countries, and Afghanistan has one of the best ones. We got served some tea and bread with lunch, and we enjoyed taking a moment to sit down in a quiet area and refuel, ready for the rest of the day. This is where the guys also put on their temporary local clothing, because the guys had to get theirs tailor-made, so it wasn't ready until the end of the day.
Loving the look, Ross. We have just arrived to the Blue Mosque, and it is closed for prayer time, so we can't go in at the moment. However, it is completely empty on the outside, which is really awesome to see. So we're going to walk around the outside for a little while and then head on in when the prayer time is over. One thing about Afghanistan is you are guaranteed to draw a crowd here as a tourist. Is genuinely one of the most beautiful mosques I have ever seen, and I've been to some pretty spectacular mosques. It is absolutely stunning, and one of the things that makes it so much better is how kind and welcoming all of the people are that come here. They come up to us and chat. Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Okay, what's your name?
My name's Lauren.
You're from?
I'm English.
You are from?
England.
England. Okay.
What's your name?
My name is Shoaib.
Anne?
Muhammad.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And you are Sylvie?
Yes, of course. You're on my camera as well. You want a selfie on here?
Okay. 1 minute.
We have been here for about an hour, and honestly I have not filmed much for YouTube. I came with the goal to try and get as much YouTube content as possible and show people the country, but people here are so kind. Every time the camera comes up they just keep talking to me, and I don't want to shove a camera in their face. A lot of them are so happy to be on camera, but honestly, like, it's just been so good to just kind of come and experience it and enjoy it in the moment and not worry too much about the footage. So hopefully I've got enough that you guys can see enough about the Blue Mosque and its beauty, and I definitely have enough to portray how kind the locals are here. We have been at the Blue Mosque for the last 2 or 3 hours. As expected, this place is one of my favourites in Afghanistan still. No words can describe the people here and how welcoming they are. They just come up to you, they want photos, they want to know why you're here and where you're from, and absolutely incredible experience. Last year in Mazar-i-Sharif I had the best ice cream of my life, so of course had to bring the group back and come and get some more of the very, very famous ice cream here. So let's hope it is as good as I remember.
Strawberry with mango. These are...
Is that all?
Good. He's got me saying, welcome to Mazar-i-Sharif. Yeah, that's yours now, Yana.
Thank you.
I'm not a pistachio fan, but I will try it.
You did a mistake, my bro.
That's good.
Yeah?
That's good.
Me? Yeah, sure.
Now we switch. Çetorasti.
Çetorasti.
Banana.
I can put it on it.
Good morning. Today is day 2 in Afghanistan. It is currently 6:30 in the morning. I'm just going to go down to breakfast, and then we are going to make the long drive from Mazar-i-Sharif to Kabul. We're making lots of stops on the way. It's a super scenic drive, so let's go to Kabul.
After breakfast, we headed on out to the cars to put our luggage in and make the move. Today's journey is a long one as we drive to the capital city of Afghanistan, Kabul. On the way, we stopped at a petrol station, and this would be one of the last stores or supermarkets to pick up any snacks because the drive is pretty rural, so you don't get the best of supermarkets out there.
So we have just arrived to our first stop of the day, which is Johannabar Palace, which is an abandoned palace. It's been abandoned for about 60 years now. This place is super cool. We can go in and explore all of the rooms inside and walk around it, and it has some beautiful views around. We are surrounded by mountains, but they are currently hidden behind the palace. But last year when I was here, it was the middle of winter and it was super foggy and muddy, and we didn't even realise there were mountains here. So it's really cool to see it in the summer and see all of the surrounding views.
Jalandhar Palace is an abandoned palace that tourists can go and see and walk around freely. The Taliban do guard the palace, so you do get permit checked when you're there. However, we've never had any issues in both of the years that we have visited. It's a super cool experience. You're free to walk around and explore the different rooms, both below and above, with great views over the mountains.
So because of the wars and all going on, and then when the Russians came, they occupied it, or Americans, and those stars are the logos. They are the general stars. They give it on the show.
Ja, I'm just looking.
After spending around an hour at the palace, we jumped back into the cars and continued the journey. This is where the views started to get absolutely incredible as you drive through mountains and canyons, and it's just absolutely jaw-dropping. With any long car journey, you have to have some fun, so the cars got creative and we're passing the cameras through the cars, and don't get me wrong, our drivers are good, but there was some near misses.
Driving for about 2 more hours since our first stop this morning, and we have just arrived in the next province. So the guys have got out the car, they've gone into the Taliban office here, and it is basically where they register and get the permits for each different region. I've stayed in the car because for some reason our driver always leaves the engine on, which is hilarious, but all of our stuff is in here, so I am staying put whilst they go and get all of the permits, and pretty much they handle everything for you. We just need to give them passports and potentially ID cards that we were given on our first day here, and they take care of everything else. They might ask you questions. Chances are they're going to be super friendly and just approve your permit straight away.
After an hour or so more of driving, we headed to our stop number 2, and this is where the road started to get a little bit bumpy. So excuse all of the shaky footage from here on out.
This footage is so bumpy.
Hey guys.
Always ordering.
The next stop on our drive through the Samangam province is to some of the caves that still exist here. So as you can see behind, there's this huge mount, and inside you can go into a whole bunch of different caves, and some of them are super small. Some of them are absolutely massive and run all the way through the mount. So let's go and check out some of the caves. And this here is one of the biggest caves, and you can go all the way through the tunnel to the back. It's super, super cool.
Yeah, keep going. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then just this way. No, sorry, walk this way. Yeah. No, more, okay.
So in one of the caves, we had a local come up and greet us and welcome us to the country. And it was the same man that we met last year here. And we both took portrait photos of him that we still have, and we showed him. And before he even said anything, he came up to us and he said too, and he was like, last year. He recognised us before we even said anything, which is super sweet. But yeah, we've just been taking some photos of and with him as well, which is super, super nice to kind of bump into familiar faces in a country that's quite under-travelled. And so for them, it's really nice to kind of see people that revisit the country.
If you want to go the inside, you can take it. If you want to go the inside, you can take it from inside.
Assalamu alaikum.
If you want to sit here and make the bread, I will take care of it.
Okay, I'm not going to make the bread.
Okay.
I gave ice cream yesterday, that's enough.
We had pulled up on the side of the road to jump out and grab some bread as a quick driving snack. However, the guys that worked there invited me in, and I could not say no to such a cool experience. I even ended up going up and learning to make the bread with them, and they even made me try and put it in the oven, which I definitely ruined some of their bread, but they were super, super nice and were so happy to have me there and so welcoming, and it was one of the best experiences of my whole trip.
Just for taking the bread from this side. He said, you want this one?
I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I should not be how I do. Slap them?
Yeah.
Don't
like
burn
slap,
yourself
like
on the
slap,
side.
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
Yeah. He said it's okay. Yeah.
He's just coming up. If you've ever wondered what a toilet in Afghanistan in the middle of nowhere looks like, this is it.
The next few hours consisted of driving, and more driving. And normally I would be a little bit bored, but honestly with the views in Afghanistan, I have zero complaints about driving. The driving days are some of my favourite because you just get to sit and take it in and admire the views. Whenever the views got super pretty, we did pull over and take a few minutes to stretch our legs and take in the incredible scenery.
It's so nice.
Always like.
Yeah, she needed it. She was from Germany, but she needed it.
I was in the UK, let alone Africa next year, so I got to sort that out before anything.
Just as sunset was approaching, we finally reached Salang Pass, and Salang Pass is a very, very famous mountain pass in Afghanistan. The roads are next level bumpy, it is long, it is windy. If you get car sick, this is not the road for you. Essentially, our timings all day had been based around reaching the mountain pass before dark, because doing this road in the daytime saves a lot of time and also saves a lot of car sick.
Hey, watch it with my donkeys.
At the highest point of this drive, you are at 300,000 meters of altitude, so altitude sickness definitely kicks in, especially with how quick you are ascending. We have just stopped at one of the super remote service kind of station things up in the mountains, and this is what the bathroom here looks like. And after a few more hours of driving in the dark, we had finally reached our final destination, Kabul. And although everybody was pretty tired from a long day, we had one more experience to take in this day, and it was probably the best one of the day. The team from Afghanistan Travel Experience had put on a meal for us, and they were waiting with their kebabs and their shashlik, and it was just an absolutely incredible experience. Everybody sat on the floor together, sharing bread and meat and veg, and it was so great to meet everybody and just sit down and relax and have some delicious food.
Banana. I love those.
Samim, I'm remote of it, madam.
We started the day this morning at 6:30 for breakfast, and it is currently 11:30 in the evening. We've just arrived at our hotel after an incredible night, so it's time to sleep now and prepare for day 3.
Good morning from Kabul. Today we woke up in the capital city of Afghanistan and had breakfast at the hotel. We then headed out for a full day of sightseeing around the capital city.
Good morning from Kabul. This morning has been a little bit slower than the rest. We were absolutely exhausted after the 18-hour day that we had yesterday. So we woke up around 7:30 and had some breakfast, and very slow morning. And now we have come up to this beautiful viewpoint over the city as our first stop exploring Kabul.
So the flag is like 25 meter width
Yeah.
and 40 meter length.
Oh wow, big.
Like to that side.
Yeah.
This flag is absolutely massive. It is 85 meters tall, and we just got told by a local that he believes it's around 25 meters in height and 30 meters in width. So that is a pretty big flag. However, unfortunately the wind isn't super strong this morning, so it's not currently flying, which I imagine when it's flying it looks so much better. But hopefully if we hang around long enough then we can get it to fly.
You may be the kindest man I've ever
And they asked,
On our way to our next stop, we have stopped at one of the viewpoints overlooking the city, and Kabul is very hilly and surrounded by mountains, so the viewpoints here really overlook the city, and it is absolutely stunning up here. So my next stop here in Kabul is to the Shrine of Shahi, which is where I am at the moment, and it is one of my favourite places in the city because it is so peaceful in such a chaotic city. It's really quiet, and the people here are very, very similar to the Blue Mosque in Mazar-i-Sharif. They are so kind and welcoming, and they just come up to you and want to chat a little bit and know where you're from, why you're here, and a lot of people are asking for photos as well. We have come here at midday, so it's currently 12:10, and it's actually really, really quiet. There are not many people here, which is great because we get to kind of wander around and see it. Not too busy. If you come on a Friday around this time, it will be absolutely packed. So luckily, we have got it a little bit to ourselves at the moment, but enough people here that we're still getting people come up to us and chatting and asking where we're from, which is always, always so, so lovely.
Are you good? Hi. How are you?
What's your name?
Hi. Hi. How are you? Are you okay? Hello.
How old are you? How old?
Are you? You? Are you 6, 7? I am 33. Different colours, yeah? You want to see cool? Look, watch this. Watch this, yeah? Watch.
You know what this says?
No.
They are sister and brother. She says.
Oh, no.
After spending some time at the shrine, it was time to change locations from the calm and the peaceful to the chaotic side of Kabul.
Our next stop in Kabul is Mazar-i Market, and it is absolute chaos.
Germany. You want to take a photo inside? Yeah. I just do a maximum.
As you will have been able to see, Mazar-i Market is busy, it is loud, it is crowded, but it is awesome. You definitely need to take a little bit of a break after visiting, so we headed to lunch.
Cool. Yeah. After a super busy morning and early afternoon exploring Kabul, we have just arrived at our awesome restaurant to have a late lunch, and we are eating in these yurts, which is super cool.
Just take the two. This is better.
Yeah.
Wait. And I sit in the middle. No, this. Okay, boss.
This is round 2 at the cake room.
Challenge. Okay, then I will take that.
Yeah, this cake. Chips is all on
It's like normal chicken burger. Can I trade in my juice?
I had a sore throat from the day before, so I decided to try special Kabul soup, which was highly recommended by one of the guides, and it was absolutely delicious. We also ordered a bunch of different dishes as a group to share, and I tried some of the other local foods, and honestly, Afghani food is incredible.
I think this is cheese. Usually I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna try it without the cheese first.
Yeah, literally that.
It's a roast dinner soup.
It's way colder.
No, I mean in November.
In December last year,
December
in
is like
Bamiyan, we
snow,
were
yeah.
minus 23. It was
so full of snow, yeah.
so cold.
I knew that in summer.
Islam.
Is there a beef?
Go Islam.
3 days.
We are doing this.
Maybe in a minute. I need to let my food try and settle.
And after a few hours of eating and resting after a super busy day, we headed to our final stop, which was Chicken Street. Chicken Street is a famous street in Kabul where you can get local handmade souvenirs and pretty much anything you want to take home with you. So we headed and got some patches and various different souvenirs for the group. And we then headed back to our hotel to call it a night because we have a busy day tomorrow. Good morning from Kabul, the capital city of Afghanistan. After a full day of exploring yesterday, it is time to head to our next destination. Today we are driving for around 3 hours to reach the city of Bamiyan, known as one of the most beautiful and special places in the country. For the next few days of the trip, we were supposed to have a female guide with us to give us some insights to living in Afghanistan as a female. Unfortunately, due to the power outage, we had no way of contacting her to arrange when we should pick her up or where we should meet her. We just had to hope that the power and connection would be switched on before we reached Bamiyan so that we were able to get in touch. Unfortunately, this wasn't the case.
Our first stop for today is a beautiful viewpoint just outside of Kabul, overlooking some of the mountains and this really stunning lake. Of course, on the way, we stopped at some services and some of the group grabbed some local smoothies made on the side of the road. Sitting on the back of the car
the way, the guides and drivers let the group have a go at driving themselves. As a female living in Afghanistan, you are not allowed to drive a car. It is only men who can drive in the country.
Bailey, message from Mom.
Mum, I've just learnt to drive my first manual here in Afghanistan.
Upon arriving in Bamiyan, the first thing we had to do is go and grab lunch. So we headed to a local restaurant to try the Afghani burger, which is something our guides have been talking about since we arrived.
I thought it was going to be like an episode. The next stop for today is Gogula City, which is also known as the City of Screams, because in Bamiyan it was one of the places that Genghis Khan used to execute lots of people, unfortunately, and the nearby villagers would hear their screams, hence the nickname. Although it does have a pretty horrific history behind it, it is also known as one of the most beautiful spots in Bamiyan, and we are here an hour before sunset, so the lighting is absolutely gorgeous, and we are going to make our way up to the top now and get some views over the incredible city that is Bamiyan. I feel like I say this about every place that I visit in this country, but Gogula City is one of my favourite places in the country. It is absolutely stunning, and to see it in the summertime with the sun setting and all the views over the mountains is really, really special. Not sure if it's my favourite more than the Red City. It's definitely top 3.
Four towers, another side that we had this year. Okay. And 3 towers where I will show you.
We have spent the last hour or so at Gogula City and have watched the sunset from the top, and now I'm making our way to one of the Buddhas. I believe we're going to the male Buddha because that's the one that you can't climb, so we're going to go and have a look from the outside, and then tomorrow morning we will visit the other Buddha and the rest of the sites in Bamiyan. We have made it to the male Buddha of Bamiyan, and you may be wondering where the Buddha is. It no longer exists. The Taliban in 2001 blew up the Buddha, they blew up the male and the female statue, and now the gaps in the cave just exist, and you can climb the female Buddha and you can look out all the beautiful mountain views from it. However, the male Buddha isn't quite as structurally safe, so you can only see it from the floor. Luckily we arrived when the Taliban were here, and they kind of guard the area and unlock it for people that want to come in, so we have been able to come into the actual courtyard and get up close and experience it.
And here was some Buddha, when they came there, when it was built, they destroyed it. Here was some Buddha, right? Yeah.
I remember tiny Buddhas.
Yeah, there was some Buddha. And the top side, there was like a painting of Buddha. The top side, yeah. The roof.
You good? Our last official stop for the day was to come to a couple of grocery stores and fruit shops, and we've ended up in a cake shop of all places, and they have so many different options. I've gone for some different cookies, not really sure what any of them are, and we've got our driver's favourite cake to gift to him because he's absolutely lovely.
Also,
To get a rough idea of how much this stuff costs, it is super cheap, with my total coming in at only $2 for a bag of cookies and a full-size cake.
Can we put them in the same bag?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Same bag?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
We ate together.
After another full day, it was time to crash at the hotel and prepare for a super early morning start. Before we jump into day 5, I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the most obvious differences for females travelling and living in Afghanistan, which is the clothing. A headscarf to cover your hair, as well as full coverage on clothing such as the abayas that you see me wearing in this video, are mandatory in Afghanistan. Just like other Muslim countries, full coverage and covering your hair is a very big part of their religion and culture, so it's definitely not the only country you see this in. Good morning from Bamiyan. Today is day 5 of our trip, and it is by far my favourite day. This morning was definitely an early one, as we left at 5 a.m. Our early start was due to 2 reasons. The first one being we wanted to capture the beautiful sunlight that is what you are seeing right now, and it was definitely worth it. The second reason is that women are banned from the national park. The only women who are allowed in are the women who live in the national park and some tourists, depending on which Taliban guard is on shift that day. When we arrived, there was already a Taliban on the checkpoint, so we did get stopped. Our guides and drivers, as always, handled this, and they were told that there are too many women in our group to be allowed to enter the national park. Our guides were absolutely amazing, and they explained to the Taliban at the checkpoint that we were just tourists who wanted to experience the national park. We would be there a few hours and then leave. After about 5 minutes, we were allowed to enter. This is something that differs every year, because when we came last year, we had no issues, and not even was it mentioned that a female was trying to enter.
Good morning from Bandi Amir. It is currently 6:30 in the morning and we have just arrived after an hour drive. The sun is rising and we have this place to ourselves, and surrounded by mountains and views over the lakes. It is absolutely stunning.
That's his.
Yeah, pose for me, donkeys. We have just walked down to one of the lakes here in the national park and have gone for a bit of a wander, and now we are going to go and have breakfast at one of the little tents up the top with a beautiful view just under one of the caves. This place is absolutely stunning, and we've spoken to a lot of locals this morning, which is always a nice thing to be able to do when you're travelling as well.
With the ducks?
There's no
Swans?
airplanes.
Or vehicle or anything?
No, nothing
Boat?
is available. Yes. You want to ride a boat?
As we were exploring the national park, we came across some children who were absolutely fascinated with us and hung around to talk and play with us. One girl in particular who lived in the national park stuck out to us, and she hung around with us for a few hours. We discovered that she didn't have many winter clothes going into the cold season, and she also had really bad burn on her skin. So me and a few of the group went to the local market and brought her some local clothes, face cream and a hairbrush. She was so happy and overwhelmed with the gesture. She really didn't want to leave us, but she waved us off as we left the national park.
Our next stop today is to the female Buddha, which unfortunately we've run out of a little bit of time to go and climb it. So we're just going to admire it from afar for now and then head on to our next destination, which is the Red City.
You did this and I wasn't sure if that was like a hello or a go away.
Next up was lunch, and this restaurant was very, very special because it was a women-run restaurant. The girls in the group even got a chance to go in the kitchen and meet some of the chefs that were cooking for the restaurant.
We have just finished up lunch where we had some incredible local food and have just driven down to the Red City, which is one of my favourite places in this country, if not my favourite. It's so beautiful, and to see it in the summer when everything is just super green and it's warm and not freezing cold like it was when I was here last year. So excited to get up and look at the views in the summertime.
Absolutely not.
I just had one of my favourite interactions of this trip so far this year. We were just walking up the Red City, and I was on my own and I crossed a man, elderly man from the Netherlands, and we were just chatting and he was like, oh, this is my tour leader, and he comes down and he goes, oh, you've been here before? And I was like, yeah, I came last year. And he goes, oh, I follow you on Instagram. And he pulls out his phone and then realises that he can't load anything because the internet is currently off. He goes, oh, he's trying to remember my name. And he goes, Salah? And I was like, oh, Salah. And he goes, yes, I know you. You're trip leader with ATE, which is the company we are with now, which was really cool to meet somebody in the country who has followed me since almost a year ago when I was here last with Explore Afghanistan. So that was really cool, and he was super lovely. We had a little chat and then they went on with their day. And after spending a few hours here at the Red City, we are making our way back down to the cars and preparing for a super long journey ahead. We are driving back to Mazar-i-Sharif tonight, which is anywhere between a 10 and 15 hour drive. It's currently 3:30, so we expect to arrive tomorrow in the early hours, hopefully enough time to grab a few hours sleep in a hotel before spending our last day in Mazar-i-Sharif, doing the last few things that we missed on our first day, and then crossing the border back to Uzbekistan.
Good views in the way.
Afghanistan is just good views. There are no bad views here.
I hope you come back and see again.
I'm gonna come back many more times, don't worry.
I'm waiting for you.
I've made one more stop on our way to Mazar-i-Sharif, which is to see a tank, and you can see people standing on it behind us. We have a friend in the group, Bailey, who is really into the history and war and has been really wanting to see a tank, and we spoke to our guide and he knew one that you can go on and go in and kind of move stuff around and get up close to it, which is really cool. So he's brought us here on our journey back to Mazar, and it's pretty
After watching the beautiful light and the sunset over the mountains, it was time to start the drive in the dark. And it was just as we were coming up to the mountain pass, so it was one very bumpy drive. After many hours of driving, we finally reached Mazar-i-Sharif at around 4:30 in the morning. We headed to bed for a few hours and woke up the next day ready to explore our final day in Afghanistan, so stay tuned to see what we got up to.
Good morning from Mazar-i-Sharif. It is currently 10 a.m. We have just woken up and are getting ready to go and spend our last day in Afghanistan. Today we are going to Balkh, which is a region I haven't been to before, so I am super excited. And then, depending on time, we'll do some last little bits in Mazar-i-Sharif, hopefully grab some ice cream and explore the sand dunes a little before crossing the border later. The last few days have been a bit stressful. The country has been on a connection wipeout. We have had no signal, no Wi-Fi, no data. They have completely cut everything in and out of the country. Nobody knew why. There were some rumours going around, but no particular reason. Or no particular reason that people were told. And nobody had any idea when it was coming back on. Some of our guides thought it could be weeks. Some of them were like, nope, it should come back on in a few days. Not something that happens regularly here. So it's had an impact on the trip for sure. It's really hard to organise things when you can't phone people or connect with people. We had a super long day yesterday. We drove from 3 p.m. until 5 a.m. in the morning with a full morning yesterday as well. So people were exhausted, but we managed to get a couple of rooms, even though some of us have been sleeping on the floor at a hotel, and we've woken up and are ready to spend our last day in Afghanistan. So let's go enjoy it.
Forgot to update the vlog this morning.
So we are on our way to Balkh, and we have just had to stop off to pick up a security guard. They have asked to see all of the men and everyone's passports, so the girls are just currently waiting outside the cars or in the cars. And we're not really sure why they need to see the men. I guess it's to know who's going, and they usually prefer to discuss with men than they do with women. But for this area, it's always recommended for tourists to have security guards with them. So we are picking somebody up now to do all of the Balkh region with them.
That's why he was
Yeah.
working on it. Yes.
We have made it to Balkh, and I really like this place because it reminds me so much of the other Central Asian countries. You can see behind, they're so similar to the architecture in places like Uzbekistan or even Kazakhstan, and it's really nice because I love the region, my favourite countries on earth, so it's really nice to be in Afghanistan and kind of be reminded of those other countries as well.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
No. No?
Cricket.
Just cricket.
Yeah.
After spending around 1 hour exploring the old part of Balkh, we then made our way to our next stop, which is more on the outskirts of the town.
Super windy.
Unfortunately, it was so windy that you could not hear anything I was saying in the next minute-long clip. Essentially, I was just telling you that some local had brought his horse up to our group and was offering for people to ride it. So a handful of our group were all riding this horse in the middle of this desert flat in Balkh. Definitely one of the most unique experiences you could have in Afghanistan.
that's why I'm talking so much in this area. I know the place.
Yeah, okay.
We have just arrived back to Mazar-i-Sharif from bulk, and our first stop back is going to be going and getting the really famous ice cream again because everybody loved it. It's so delicious, and we're back here, so why not grab some?
You wouldn't let me turn on the light.
Yeah, I didn't want to go to school either.
Hey.
Hey, Coca-Cola. Oh,
Did you order that?
No. Banana. Here's initial.
Ice cream's finished. It was now time for my least favourite part of the trip, which is leaving the country. We made our way to the border, which is around an hour and a half drive from the city of Mazar-i-Sharif, and we got the most stunning sunset views to wave us off as we leave.
Enjoy your 365.
Okay, how much? You have small dollar? Yeah.
It is 6 p.m. and we have just gone through the immigration on the Afghani side of the border. We are now on our way to cross Friendship Bridge and then go back into Uzbekistan, and then our trip is officially over.
That evening, the group all crashed at one of the guest houses in Termez, and the next day we made our way back down to Samarkand, where some of the group sadly had to leave and we had to say our final goodbyes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, backpacking.
And that is a wrap on my Afghanistan series here on YouTube, where I have documented everything we did over our 6 days in the country. If you have watched up until here in the video or watched any of my other Afghanistan videos, I just want to say a huge thank you for all the love and support you have shown over on my YouTube channel. This was my second time in Afghanistan. I went the year before and did the same itinerary and experiences, and I absolutely loved it, so much so that I had to come back and host a group trip to bring more people to this incredible country. Massive shout out to Afghanistan Travel Experiences, who I collaborated with to host this group trip. They were an absolute awesome country to work with. Hijra, our guide, is amazing, so if you're planning a trip to Afghanistan, check out ATE and ask for Hijra because you won't regret the experience that you have with him in the country. If you have been watching these videos and thought to yourself that you would love to join a group trip like this, then stay tuned and keep an eye out on my social media. After the success of my first group trip, which is the videos you have just been watching, I am definitely hosting more in the future with ATE, and I'm currently working on finalising some dates for the same itinerary in early next year. I'm also heading back to travel the country myself and to explore new regions and destinations in the country, so I'll also be releasing some new itineraries later on in the year. And that is officially a wrap. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for lots more adventures coming on my channel in the future.